Absolutely, thank you so much. So my wife and I, we have a particular interest in beehives. And actually, before we arrived to Canberra in 2014, my wife surprised me with an evening course in Stockholm, Sweden, on having beehives. So it was obvious to us when we first arrived to Canberra, it was obvious to us with this fantastic park to have beehives. Not necessarily for the honey, which is nice. So we have actually embassy honey as a giveaway, but it's more to contribute to the bees and insects in ACT. So there are different types of beehives, and one of the things that we will be presenting on the World Bee Day on Sunday the 20th here at the embassy in Canberra will be different designs of these beehives. We are particularly fond of these two beehives that you see here in front of you. It's what is called an open design, so anyone can download this design on the internet and have them made. They are assembled without any nails, any glue or anything. My son Jacob, who has a past experience in assembling furnitures, he did it, assembled this within 5 minutes. What is unique with these, I've been told that they are inspired or based on an African design. And what is unique with these is that it's not a flow hive. The flow hive is a proud Australian invention, but since we are not doing it for the honey, we're simply keeping them here. We are giving them a protection and shelter. So it's not actually done for the honey, and for that reason we decided to have this particular design, and it works well. The bee seems to be happy with it. We've had them for almost half a year now. So when the news came from New York on the 2nd of December last year that we would have a United Nations World Bee Day, we immediately decided here at the Embassy of Sweden in Canberra that we would have a family day. And there are a few reasons behind that. The fundamental and most important reason is that we give high importance to Agenda 2030 and the Sustainable Development Goals. And the future and the survival of bees and obviously all other insects is absolutely crucial for mankind, and thereby very much related to the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. So that is the basic reason why we did it. Secondly, the Embassy of Sweden in Canberra is actually one of the oldest and largest embassies in Canberra. It was opened in 1951. Unfortunately, it has been a bit underutilized, and we decided that we would reach out to the wider ACT Canberra public, thereby having a family day. And based on my own experiences, I earlier mentioned that me and my wife attended an evening course in having beehives in Stockholm, Sweden. Based on these experiences, I know that there are often very, very specific good questions on how to support bees and insects in your own garden. So that is the theme. Practical advices on what to do. So with the partners that we have on board on this Sunday, which will be the single largest event at the Embassy of Sweden ever, we expect around 1,000 visitors. The theme will be, if I may give you a few examples, it would be like, what are the plants, flowers, herbs that you should plant in your own garden, thereby supporting the bees and the insects? Can you build your own bee hotel? Bee hotels are important, or insect hotels are important for the native bees. You have plenty here in Australia. We can only envy you. In Sweden, we have approximately 250 different bee species, and you have far more than that in Australia. So building your own bee hotel, what are the plants, flowers, herbs that you should be looking at in your own garden? What are the pesticides that you should avoid? So it will be a
fun family day with a quiz walk around the garden with some 10 to 15 questions related to bees in a fun way. And obviously no Swedish family event without fika. Fika is a concept where you have a coffee and cookies and cakes, so that is obvious. So I will organize and change the residence of the ambassador to change that into a Swedish coffee shop. Yes, I might be wrong in this, but I believe that due to time differences, I believe that we in Canberra on Sunday the 20th will be the first, possibly in the world, to celebrate the World Bee Day. And for us at least, we will have the single largest Swedish event in the world, 1,000 visitors. Very much obviously thanks to Slovenia. Slovenia took the initiative, as you know, in the United Nations, and we have created something called the Triple S for Bees. The Triple S for Bees is the Embassy of Slovenia, it's the Embassy of Sweden, and the Embassy of Switzerland. And on board in this, and that I want to stress, we also have the Federal Parliament. The call for action is consider if you can have a beehive. You don't need a large garden. Obviously, you need to discuss it with your neighbors, but consider it. It's not, that is maybe the single most important message from my side personally. Consider it. It's not as difficult as you might think. You should take it seriously, but it's not as difficult as one might think. So consider a beehive. If you can't have a beehive, build your own bee hotel. That is easy, and that is something that we will explain on the World Bee Day. Consider the plants, herbs and flowers in the garden. That is easy to do. And finally, pesticides. Consider if you need them, and if so, what are the pesticides that you use?